In terms of, I think the major changes, we did rewrite the community association disclosure agreement in its entirety, and I think that's a lot clearer than it used to be. There's also a major change in the conventional loan contingency, and in that document we basically say that if you say you're going to get a conventional loan, you got to get a conventional loan, and you now have to have permission to change over to an FHA loan or to a VA loan. Those are the two biggest changes that I think we've made to the contract. Now, with regards to the community association disclosure, we used to have a list of all the one-time charges that a buyer has to pay for, and that was very confusing to a lot of buyers and to closing attorneys. So we lumped it in one category, and what we now say is the seller's got to pay for the clearance letter, the buyer has to pay for all the one-time charges, but the seller basically fills in a maximum amount that the buyer will pay, and if it's above that maximum amount, then the seller pays it. Those are really the two major changes, or the major change to the community association disclosure exhibit. We did try to extensively deal with the issue of special assessments, and normally with a special assessment, if the seller has disclosed the special assessment, the seller pays their part of the special assessment that's due while they own the property, and the buyer pays their share of the special assessment due afterwards. But if the seller does not disclose that there's a special assessment and then there is one, we do provide that the seller's on the hook for the special assessment. And we also tried to deal with kind of surprise last-minute special assessments that arise after the binding agreement date. And we now have a blank in the contract where if there's a surprise special assessment after the binding agreement date, the parties negotiate a fill-in-the-blank amount, and if the special assessment is above that amount, then the buyer can walk away from the contract. If the special assessment is below that amount, the buyer just has to pay whatever that amount is. I think most people are not going to fill in that blank with a big sum. I think if I'm a buyer, I may fill it in with zero, which basically means if there's any special assessment, I can walk away prior to closing. You're probably going to see some sellers wanting that number to be something less than $5,000, and the parties will negotiate it.